Okay, guys, so today we are starting with the C language skill on HackerRank, and we'll start with the first program. It is probably the first program that every programmer writes. It is generally called as the Hello World program. So let's dive right in. Okay, so author is Mahak Bhaga. The difficulty level is easy. The maximum score is 5. It has been submitted by around zero point 0.3 million people as of now. Let's read the problem. So the objective is in this challenge we will learn some basic concepts of C that will get you started with the language. You will need to use the same syntax to read input and write output in many C challenges. As you work through these problems, review the code stubs to learn about reading from stdin and writing to stdi out. Okay, it is very simple. You just have to take some input and give some output. The task here is this challenge requires you to print hello world on a single line and then print the already provided input string to std out. If you are not familiar with C, you may want to read about the Printf command. The example here is S is equal to life is beautiful. S can be said as a string. This is a set of characters. So this is a string. Okay. The required output obviously will be the first line will have hello world. The second line will have the input life is beautiful as an output. Okay. The function description says complete the main function below. The main function has the following input string s a string. Okay, now the print will be two strings, the first hello world on one line and the input string on the second line. The input format will be a single line of text s, and the sample input here is welcome to C programming. It will give us a output of hello world in the first line and welcome to C programming in the second line. Okay, so here is the piece of code that you will get preloaded. Okay, these things you will not have to write. This is a statement that I had already solved, so this is present here. You won't see such statements, you will see this much. Okay, these three lines char s100. Let's try to understand what all these lines mean. Okay, first we'll start with this. These hashtag include stdio.h, hashtag include string.h. These are including functions. Okay, and these inside are header files. Header files are the libraries that contain different type of functions that are to be used in the program. And hash include is called a preprocessor, which helps us get inside these libraries, these header files. Okay, int main means int is a type, data type. Int means integer. Main is a function. In most programs, in most programming languages actually, main function is, as it says, the main function, or we can say the starting function, right? And before main we have int, which means the return type of this main function is integer. So it means that when we execute the program, at the end of that program we will return something to this function which will be a value of type integer, right? Now we'll start inside the main program. We get this statement char s brackets 100. Okay, so char is a data type declaration, that this here what we are declaring is a variable of type char. Char means character. Okay, s is the name of the variable that we are declaring. Here in this case it is an array of size 100. The value 100 inside these square brackets is the size of this array, right? So the type of character array named S has the size 100. Now every line in C language has an end with a semicolon. So we end this line with a semicolon and we move on to the next line. Here we see scanf. Scanf is basically a function that is used to take input from the user. Okay, when you type something on a keyboard, this function takes inside your program your input. It has the name scanf, which means basically scanning, right? And then we see percent brackets, the power sign slash n brackets again star percent. So this seems complicated. For now we'll just skip this. Just keep in mind that this represents a straight line of input. Okay, whenever in your computer you have to take a whole line of input including spaces, okay, you write this specific code inside C language and this will be in double quotes. Always remember that. Then we have a comma and this and sign. This and is called ampersand in C language, and then we have S. Okay, and specifies where we have to store what we are scanning or what we are taking as input. We are storing it at S, something named S. Now this S must be predefined. Okay, here it is predefined, right? We defined earlier that S is an array of type character which has the size 100. So the program will know where to store the input that we are taking, and S means we are storing the input into S. Okay, now this is done for us. Okay, this is already done for us. You won't see this in the previous program when you start, right? You will write this on your own. Let's write this again. So our problem was to print hello world in the first line and to print the input we are getting in the second line. We'll do that using the printf function. Printf is the function that is used to print anything on the screen with C language. Okay, we'll usually have double quotes like we did before in scanf function. And since we are writing hello world, okay, we'll put that hello world inside this directly, right? So hello comma world, and we'll have an exclamation mark. This will print hello world onto the screen, and since we want to switch the line when we print the next output, okay, we'll have to use backslash n inside this. Whenever the program encounters backslash n, the program knows that it has to switch the line to the next one. Okay, so the counter, the cursor you can say, will move on to the next line when it sees this statement, this backslash n, right? And then we'll put a semicolon at the end of this printf function because we put a semicolon in C language after every statement. And then we print another line with the input that we got. Okay, so print f, and then we'll put the command %s. Now %s, why? Because what we are printing is a string. Okay, so %s specifies that what we are going to print is a string. Okay, a data type called string, and then we'll have a comma, and then we'll type what we are trying to print, the name of that variable. Okay, so our variable was an array. Okay, so we write the name of that array s, and then we end the line with a semicolon. So let's run the code and see whether or not it is satisfying the sample cases. Okay, the test has cleared, sample test case is passed. Now we'll submit the code and we get our points if the corner cases are passed too. I guess it is taking a bit of time, but we got our 5 points. Okay, there was only one test case here since it is a very simple program, but often you will encounter more than one test cases. Actually, if you learn further, you can encounter as many as 20 test cases, which will be very different from this one. This one was a very simple program, and we got our 5 points. Okay, so best of luck for the next one. We'll meet in the next video. Okay, bye.